Welcome to Queener Lax, Laxin Poetic. I'm your host, Bryce Queener. We're going to talk all things lax on this show with some of the greatest personalities in the sport. Be sure to check out our sponsor, QueenerLax.com, for swag, camps, and clinics. Got questions? Want to hear something? Get in our DMs at QueenerLax. Hey, thanks for listening. And remember, ABC, always be cradling. All right, well, welcome to the show tonight. We got Bradley Voigt joining us, Bubba Voigt, B-Rad, Bradley, the Sultan of Sauce, the Great Eight. Let's just get it out of the way right now. What is your name?
If you're going to ask me right now, I would have to go with my real name is Bradley, but I've always been known as Bubba, and I know that there's been people were giving me crap for it because they think that I told the MLL to call me Bubba this year out of nowhere, but the whole team, like even last year in Dallas and this summer, like all the guys called me Bubba, so I just went with it, and that's what I've been known.
Dallas? Did Billy Warder bring it to Dallas?
He did, and Donnie Moss did too.
Moss,
so yeah, and then it just went around the whole team, and then this year that's what I was known known as, so I just went with it. Coach Hobart didn't like it though.
I don't understand. We've called you Bubba since you were little.
I know.
For fans at home that don't know, Bradley and I are cousins. My second cousin. We could do a whole podcast about his mom. He's my first cousin. Happy birthday, Laura.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom, and my favorite cousin. But, I think all the names and all, it was Bubba, it's a Bradley, it's a Brad, it's Sultan of Sauce, is a Great Eight. I just think all of that kind of plays into your persona as a player. And one of the things I want to talk about today with you, the common theme, is just how you do all these great things with your stick. The swag you play with, the energy, the passion, the excitement.
Right.
And I think a lot of that comes from the name. I just think for people at home, I want them to understand that you've just been doing this since you were a little kid, since you were Bubba.
Right.
And where did you start playing? Where's your first memory of playing lacrosse?
My first memory is at my old house, Twin Oaks Drive in Penn Yan. Your sister, Twin Oaks. Your sister Sarah Queener, used to babysit me, and she's the one that taught me. This is literally the one memory I have of growing up. Like when I was very young, I remember sitting being in the front yard and shooting behind the back with her over and over again when she was babysitting me. So that was that's my first lacrosse memory is in the front yard. Yeah, I was 3 or 4 years old, and she, all you guys would always babysit us, and that's my first memory is her with me in the front yard teaching me how to shoot behind the back. So I think that's how it all started, the creativity of the game, and then just trying out those things when we're in the backyard playing at that age is crazy, but that just continued to grow throughout all the years of playing.
Shout out Sarah Queener, All-American. That was her thing.
Right.
She used to shoot behind the back with a Brian Cup 1999.
Yeah.
You don't remember watching her play at all, do you?
No, I don't. I was so young, but I did go to some games, and especially when they were when Sylvia was in high school too. I remember some games, but not anything. I don't remember her shooting behind the back or anything.
Yeah,
but.
she had a nice one. Yours is probably better now, but you're the pro,
right.
So it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Growing up in the Yan, you're in Rochester right now, Las Vegas. I'm in Denver, but our hearts are still in the Yan.
Right.
Always,
yep.
And growing
always,
up there,
yeah.
Always, it's different. We can talk about that a little bit, but the era you grew up in is interesting to me. I was thinking about it a lot today. You had the Queener brothers when you were little, then you had the Manley brothers, then the Voigt brothers, and just kind of, talk to me about growing up in Penn Yan, and what the brothers kind of mean to being in the village.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you look back at all the players that came out of Penn Yan, it's the list is phenomenal. It can be compared to any other high school in the country, and it's crazy that it's such a small school in a small town that we've been producing players like that for so many years. And obviously, it started with you guys, but and it's people like you and Brett and Mike Manley, and I think about the guys that go back to box every single year, and the guys that since ninth grade have been at the box every single summer giving back to the kids. So it's just a rotation of guys, and I remember going back in high school, and I remember helping out little kids, and now I go back even to this day, and I see those little kids that I was helping out are helping out, little kids that are in kindergarten now. So like I said, it's just a rotation of guys that are just like helping out Penn Yan lacrosse. And it's amazing to see that it still goes on. Like coaches, like your dad and Coach Obar always say, like, tradition never graduates. And that's the thing that I think like Penn Yan like lives on. Because like if you look at how the summers go and like the people that always give back, it's like there's a reason why Penn Yan is always good, and there's a reason why there's always good players coming out of Penn Yan.
Yeah, and you mentioned the box, and obviously secret to our success. It's a village, 5,000 people. Like everybody says, upstate, blue collar. Like we're literally in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. But the box, built in '92, I want to say, and you're actually one of the last generations that played in the chicken coop. And I love you saying it started with me and Brett. I mean, it started way before us. We were just the first group to really start sending guys D1 a lot and something we have. And I always thought we made it when we made it. But those guys, they would come back to the box, even the guys who never played in college, and still tell us they were tougher than us. So I want to talk to you about, what do you remember the chicken coop? One, let's just go with that. Talk to me about the chicken. We call it chicken coop because why? Tell people why it's a chicken coop.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you something. Last night I was playing up here in Rochester pickup, and I saw Blaze Reardon's dad, Mike Reardon, and the first thing he brought up to me was the new box in Penn Yan, how it's nothing like the chicken coop. Yeah. So he was, giving me some crap about it, and he was like, I remember when I was in high school, we came down. Maybe he's in college, but he came down as a Rochester versus Penn Yan team, and he said the place was packed. It was like like a Thursday night. The place was absolutely packed. There were signs.
It was sold out. Like
there was. He was like, I don't think I was either, but like he was like, he said it was unbelievable. They didn't like the kids from Rochester didn't expect that at all.
Did you play on the Grey Wolves?
Yeah, I did for like a little summer. Yeah.
The Penn Yan Comets. They just put together. Coach Hobart was in net. With umpire softball pad on, there's standing room only. Yeah. But tell them why it's a chicken coop.
Oh, I mean, because the wood and the fence on top of it. Yeah, the wired fence. Yeah. I think I played there for like 2 or 3 years, and then it moved to the new location, and then we just got the new box, obviously too. But I think the OG chicken coop is the reason why like Penn Yan lacrosse is like the way it's set up, and like how Penn Yan is built off of like lacrosse and so blue collar. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna tell you. How much does it bother you? Because we grew up playing that, right? In the box, no hats.
Yeah.
I mean, we just played helmets and gloves and just crushed each other, and the chicken wires instead of plexiglass.
Right.
And you'll go and you are playing a lot of box, and you're gonna keep playing a lot of box. Congrats. You got signed with Mammoth today.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, but. Does it kill you when everybody's like, you've never played box before, and you're like, oh.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, your typical. Yeah. No, it does. It bothers me a lot because like your typical like American lacrosse player never really play. They never really do. They never really play. They never really like even try to. But every single summer like that, I mean, every single year, like I look forward to the summertime because I was at the box like 4 or 5 nights a week, just like playing like. Just playing box for hours and hours. And if I wasn't playing, I was either watching or I was coaching. So, like, my whole summer revolved around it. And so, like, I obviously would take offense to it. But
you mentioned earlier the guys giving back, which is a tradition we have. And then the other tradition, you say play 4 or 5 minutes a week. When our other traditions, like if you're good enough and you're in 8th or 9th grade, you're allowed to play with the college and the, might be our 40-year-old uncle. Did you ever play with Uncle Frank? Who tried to hit you from behind?
Yeah. I mean, it was the Sunday night league, right? It was the Sunday nights. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you start playing with the college and the pro guys? Because like you said, Mike Manley would be coming back, and he's winning national championship with Duke, and he's just cross-checking you into the boards. And when did you start playing with the older guys?
Yeah. So I mean, I was like in 7th or 8th grade when I started playing with them. But there was always a rule, like you had to play with your own age in order to do any of that. So like if you wanted to play with the high schoolers, like you had to show up, let's say from 3 to 5, and then like from 5 to 9, like you were coaching, and then you'd start playing at 9 o'clock and play till like 11 o'clock at night.
I kind of forgot about that. And my dad who was the Penn Yan coach for runs the box, still the assistant coach there. He would like tell you like you can play tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And listen, if your effort wasn't there, or like if there was anything wrong with your effort, or like it looked like you were like half-assed, and he's like, yeah, you go home, or like, yeah, you could play tonight. So
I totally forgot all about that.
Yeah. I was always waiting for that like clarification, like after like the K through 2, like, all right, you could play tonight. I was like, thank God. Like, thank you.
Yeah. Now, were those when you played with those guys? Were they nice to you?
No. It was never about you. I mean, listen. I mean, how many stories are there when I was in high school and you were still in the pros, and you'd come back and like you'd beat the crap out of me, and I would be so pissed off. I would say I'd never talk to you again, and then like a week later a week later we'd show up and do the same exact thing all over again. So I mean, it just, and then you go and play. I know. Yeah. Right. But then I would go and play, and I was in 9th and 10th grade. I would go and play in high school, and like it wouldn't even compare, like it would just be like a slash would just be like, all right, whatever. Like
those games were barn burners. I remember one summer Dana Wilbur was playing, and like I'm just looking around, like everybody here is either D1 or pro, and then Bradley's playing with us, and we're in it's Tuesday night at 10 o'clock in the summer.
But that's the difference maker. It's like how many
people. But they throw you the ball. That's the thing I was thinking about earlier. Like they beat you up, but they throw you the ball because they knew if they threw you the ball, you might score.
Yeah. It was, I mean, there was a couple of years there when it was not fun. It was, I mean, I would go home with like bruise all over my arms. I'd be like, I'm never going back again. But
I remember that. That was kind of like, but then you get that itch and you want to do it. All right. So the box is obviously a huge part of who we are in the program. And, but you always played in the backyard. And I made it a point, whenever I'd stop home, I was up at the Hill Academy. I always stopped at your guys' house when I got into town. A lot of times into the village. A lot of times you could just be messing around, you playing hoops, playing with soccer. How much time did you spend in the yard growing up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had when like you texted me today about, you said like you might ask me like where my favorite place to play was. I gave it some thought, and I was like, like the backyard is my favorite place to play. Like no matter where I go, like whatever stadiums I've ever played in, whatever, like, or fields, like the backyard's my all-time favorite place because or anyone's yard. Like though, I think that's the most fun I ever have is like when we play 3-on-3 or like 1-on-1 goalie wars with tennis balls. Cause you see like the creativity and you could literally just go on for hours and hours of playing. Like I remember sometimes it would be in your front yard and we'd have to turn on the car lights and stuff like that. Like it would just be playing for hours. But I think like the backyard is where like the fun of the game like comes out for me. And then like if I'm ever like having an off day in practice or a game, I can always think back to like the backyard, and like I try to always put that in my mind before I go out to play. Is like I'm just gonna go out and play like I'm playing in the backyard. So
you're gonna make me cry, man. This pod's called Laxin because we can geek out on lacrosse.
I know, right?
I love that. The backyard, it's still your favorite place to play.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like all you need is like a mini goal and a tennis ball, and like you could go for hours, So
I hate when people throw me a hard ball now. I'm like,
why we do? Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait. When you make the hammer, I don't know if they'll let you play 3 by out here.
Right.
But it's real fun, man. That's a great answer. All right, so you're in the fabled list of Penn Yan ball boys. Like I said, Queener brothers done it. Ryan Helbert, Manley brothers. Who was anybody with you? Because I was gone when you were finally like really a ball boy. I was in college.
Ryan Davison was. Yeah, it was me and Ryan. Yeah, RD was with me the whole time. Okay. It was like fourth grade through 7th grade or 3rd grade through 7th grade. But I remember I was doing it when you guys were playing up on like the hill again, and I would just be, there was no backup at all. It was literally just me standing behind the goal, like 20 yards back, just by myself.
You had a helmet on at least, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have us wear helmets when we did.
Yeah, no. And then I mean after that, when the turf came along,
and you rode the bus games. You probably had your jersey on, your stick.
Yeah,
that's right. On the sectional championship. Do you remember all that?
I remember all that. I remember sitting on the bus, first seat, to the right in front of your dad every single game. because coaches were so superstitious about everything. Like I'd have to carry like the same stuff every single time. But like for games, man, I'd be so worked up and like so nervous for the games. Like I was playing. Like,
Brent and I have talked about this before. I mean, the ball boy games were harder to lose than playing.
It was, yeah. Well, then, I mean, after like you don't even know how to act after a loss because like you're obviously not playing. Like you're in middle school, but there's, I mean, when Mike Manley was a senior, I was still a ball boy, and Adam Trombley was on the team, stuff like that. But I remember I always would take Manley's flip-flops that he would wear from the bus to the locker room on away games, and I would bring them back to the bus in like a little bag. But there was one game.
You know, you got
there was one game, sectional semi, or no, state semis against Corning East at Fisher, and I didn't do it that game. I just brought out to the field. And like they ended up losing, and I gave him back to him after the game, and obviously like his senior year, like he was, you know, or junior year, he was like so upset and everything, and I was like, yeah, it was my fault that we lost. Like
you're like, damn, the flip flops, man.
I know that stuff actually works. Yeah,
we had that happen to us too. All right, so you get on it, you're finally in playing varsity. That difference from like being the ball boy and everything being that palpable and loving it, and then you're playing. Now two things I want to talk first about. In Penn Yan, the lefty attack position is like sacred. I mean, it is like the cow in other religions. Like it is like we do not mess around. Like who's playing lefty attack is pretty much forecasted like 20 years into the future.
Yeah.
And like Chris Manley was a righty. We didn't have one, so he got turned to lefty when he was 9 years old. So how much do you think that kind of fit into your game? Like just being like knowing you had to be in that great line of lefties, and were you excited for that?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was very excited for it. Obviously it meant a lot, and Coach Hobart, you know, he really set me up for, you know, some, when I was that young, like just off ball stuff at all times. So like picks and everything like that. And I remember running like plays like, you know, like Hawk, like off the end line where, I mean, he's been running the same. He's been running the same place for a long time. So, I mean, like my younger years, like he definitely set me up for success. While the older guys like Adam Trombley and like those guys were able to feed me. So, but when I was a ball boy, like that's all I wanted was to wear number 8 and to play left and to play in 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? So
jersey?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I got it.
Yeah, I got my 8. Yeah,
that's right. Right here.
Yeah.
See if I can get it out. Yep. Right there, baby.
Yeah. If you want number 8.
That's right.
We're both holding up our jerseys if you're just listening to the podcast. Well, you know, number 8 started with Coach Hobart and I made the team in 8th grade, made varsity, and I wanted to be 22, but somebody else had it. So like, why don't you wear 8? And Coach Hobart wore, he's the all-time leading goal scorer at that point in time. I ended up being the all-time leading point scorer, and then you took it from me. And some days I'll take it from you.
Right. I know. Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah.
But we talked about, you know, wearing 8 and the pride and Coach Hobart. So like Coach Hobart is just such a fascinating figure. He was my dad's assistant for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Now they're flipped roles. And I derive a lot of, I've been an offensive coordinator my whole career. I derive a lot of that from Hobart. I'm watching your highlight tape today from high school. You're shooting shots that I would have got 50 up downs for.
I know.
He just evolves with the game. He works with the Nighthawks. He's indoors, Team USA. Just talk about, you know, his type of practice, his how his intellect and things shaped your career. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that anyone that's has been coached by Coach Hobart, Coach Queener, is like the practices are going to be like 3 hours long, and it's going to be 10 times harder than what the game is going to be. And it's going to be that way 6 days or 5 days out of the week. Like, so if you weren't working hard, like he wouldn't, if you were the best player and you weren't working hard, he'd put you on the bench. Like, or if your attitude wasn't there, he would sit you or anything. So he's just straight up. And same with Coach Queener. They're just straight up. They'll tell you exactly how it is. Like there's no BS when it comes to them and their coaching style. So,
but Brian has the ability to do that. You know, my dad, you put your stick the wrong way. Defense, I always say, like, they got to have stricter rules.
Right.
Just
yeah.
I've grown up with it and like to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Coach Hobart still allows freedom. Like, did they ever tell you, like, don't take that shot? Like,
no, I mean, when I was like younger, they would like Coach Hobart, you know, he would definitely give me some advice, but I mean, there really wasn't. They allow creativity. Like Coach Hobart allows creativity, and he kind of sets it up. Like if he looks at it like, if you're good enough to pull it off and do it, then you can do that. But like, don't be trying, very like dumb, very stupid stuff. But, he was obviously a great coach, and I was with him this past summer, and it brought back like all the memories back from high school, and like almost like a calmness to the game with him on the sideline coaching me again. Like it was amazing. And it did remind me of high school, but he's just so at any level, if it's like in box or any age, like he just knows exactly what to say and exactly how to coach. So, I mean, he can honestly coach at any place he wanted to. So, but it's awesome that he's still at Penn Yan doing what he's doing now and working at the school and everything. Cause he's, him and your dad have really built this program, and it just continues to go. And it's crazy to see. So
you talk about my dad, his big thing was agilities to start practice every day. Do you think those helped your game?
Dude, I mean, you're asking the wrong person about any type of stretching or agilities, because
yeah, you didn't have to do it?
No, I had to do it.
Okay.
It was horrible. It was horrible. It was like, oh man, I can't even. It was bad. It was like we'd be miserable doing it. It was conditioning. It was conditioning. It was literally just conditioning before practice. That's how we got our conditioning in. And then like the up downs afterwards. I don't even know if people are allowed to do up downs anymore. But
yeah, it's tricky.
my whole 8th and 9th grade year, I had 50 up downs every single day after practice just because I was younger, and there was always something. Yeah, there would always be something I did wrong during practice, so they'd always give me 50 up downs. But the agilities beforehand were, oh man, I can't even tell you. I was gassed before, and then we'd have a 2.5 hour practice afterwards.
So, who was your biggest game? Like, Canandaigua, when I played, was always the toughest one. But I just love beating Geneva. I just loved it. Like,
yeah.
Half your family's from Geneva, all our cousins. What's your favorite one, Geneva or Canandaigua?
I would say when we went to Geneva, that was always fun. That was always a good time. But then they ended up changing it to like a Tuesday or a Thursday game. But I mean, Canandaigua on a Friday night, there's really – I can't really compare it to anything, because like when we go to Canandaigua, when that place was packed, or they would come to us and it was packed on a Friday, like under the lights, and there's so many people there. I don't think any game beats that. Like in a regular season rivalry, like I don't think
those games were nervous, man. I went 10-0 against Canandaigua. What was your record? Do you remember your record?
Yeah, I was 4-1 against Canandaigua. I lost.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, lost 8th grade. You were there at the game, I remember.
Oh, yeah, I was probably giving you
I got stuffed that game, I remember. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever, like, even playing, like, against Syracuse in college, playing Elite Eights and stuff, playing the Pro Championship, I don't know if I was ever as nervous as when we played Canandaigua.
Well, the thing about that one is, like, for me at least, it would be on that Friday of spring break. So we would have all of that week off and just prepare for Canandaigua all week. And, like, Friday, when it came down to when I woke up at, like, 7 o'clock in the morning, like, first 7 o'clock game at night, I couldn't. The day went on for like, it felt like a couple weeks. Like that day was so long. Like it took forever to get to be like 4 o'clock when I had to go to the locker room or whatever it was. So I remember
those, like, better than JJ. Yeah. JJ went JJ was the dark ages.
Yeah, I mean,
his brother. We'll get him on someday. All-time league scorer keeper, right? Is he still the all-time league scorer keeper?
I don't think so. You guys, I mean, you can ask him about that.
One thing, so you went from PY to Salisbury. One thing you took away from Bobby Wynn, I believe 1992 MVP and national championship game for Hobart, or mid of the year.
One thing I took away from Coach Wynn.
What you took away from Bobby Wynn?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Did he let you play the way you wanted?
Yeah, he definitely did. He has a love for the game that what I didn't think was like, I don't know, when I think about prep school, like when I went into it, I thought of like, obviously when anyone thinks of prep school, they think of just like, like white collar, like not blue collar at all, nothing like Penn Yan. So, I just didn't think that like the people that went there or the coaches would have like the love of the game that they did. And Coach Wynn he was like my mentor there. Like there would be tough nights. I mean, I was super homesick. I was away from Penn Yan for the first time. So he would invite me over to dinner all the time. I would just go over to his house, have dinner. But he had a love for the game that was there. And like, I remember he had a wooden stick that he would give out like after like someone had like a really good practice, and it was like a special time when he would bring it out. So, I don't know. I took so much away
That's
from him.
cool.
It would be hard. Yeah, it would be hard to answer just like one thing that he taught me. So
You nailed it, man. Love the game.
yeah.
Lot of love. All right, so you go Cuse. You want to play Cuse since you're little. Obviously, your style fits them. I mean, I think it's the most storied program in history. What was it like, man? Just break it down for me. What was it like playing Cuse?
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. My first year, like my freshman year, it didn't even seem like real. Like when I got there, like when I was getting the gear and I was a part of the team, it was like I didn't think that I just like even like deserved to be there, just because it was always like it seemed like such a far-fetched dream of mine. Like, but when I got there and like I got so complacent my freshman year with like working out and stuff like that, I just got very complacent. I was like, all right, I made it. Like I don't really have to put in the extra work. Like I'm here. You know, it was like it seemed like that was my destination and like I made it. So like the work didn't really like stop. I mean, I still worked hard, but I could have definitely done more. And then so I didn't really play freshman year. And then I started playing man up like sophomore, and then I like was the fourth attackman junior year, and then finally was starting senior year. But after my freshman year, I like thought to myself, man, sitting on the bench really sucked, and I really got to work in the summertime. So
well, I mean that's not that many kids now will work to get there, and I saw the work you put in. I trained with you whenever I was home.
Yeah.
You were working hard. And, I'm biased, but I was always like, can't they just throw this kid out of the box with the second midfield?
I know.
We'll talk about stylistic things later. But, I give you a lot of credit for doing that. And I have asked this before, but I'm in recruiting season right now with my job at Denver, and it's interesting to watch. And I wonder, watching all these pro guys now that are clearly at the high level that you're at,
right.
Do you wish you went to like a Stony Brook and just lit it up for 4 years? Because I wonder sometimes that might be an easier route going to
right. Yeah. Well, so I mean, there was definitely other schools I had interest in, and I always like after my freshman and sophomore year, I definitely thought like what like how different it would be if I went somewhere else, or like after my freshman and sophomore year, I even like thought about. I didn't really, I did think about transferring, but I really didn't pursue it as much because, Syracuse was always like a goal mine. If I made it there and left, like it would have stuck with me the rest of my life. So I just told myself I was going to work as hard as possible in order to be playing. And that's kind of what I did. So, but there was always that thought in the back of my mind when I wasn't playing, like, okay, like if I was somewhere else, like, what would it be like? Would I be, starting and, scoring goals and stuff like that? But I would have been.
So final answer, glad you stuck it out?
Definitely glad I stuck it out. I think I would have definitely.
Kids, man. I mean, it's a great story for the kids. And kids couldn't have gone. I mean, your senior year, you were a human highlight reel. I got to ask, with the internet age, and I'm a big Instagram guy. You're a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
We get after on social media. The Sally's got hotter and hotter and more exciting every year. Does the Instagram, does that stuff make you just want to get a cooler celebration? Like, I never played in that era. Like, it's got to help.
Dude, I mean, listen, the celebration, whatever I do celebration-wise or, like, after a goal, like, I have no idea. Like, I don't really know. I like, that's what I mean, I think so. Like, I have no idea. It's not like I planned it out. The fist bump thing is, like, it's been a thing that I've done for a little bit, but I just try to, like you said earlier, like I just try to bring like an energy to the game that's unmatched by anybody else, because I just think like my teammates can feed off of it. And like if I'm not going to be the one that's dodging or really breaking down the defense, if I'm just finishing, I feel like I have to bring something else, whether it's in the locker room before the game or after the game, or like even like I don't really chirp that much, but if I have to, or if I have to like celebrate or like die for like a loose ball, whatever it is, like I just try to do like the energy plays to get the team going. So
that's big stuff. I'm going to talk to you about that in a little bit. And that's what keeps guys around pro. But I think you'll stay around for a long time. But all right, let's go pro. We're done with Cuse. You're on the Dallas Rattlers to start. And, I always thought, the pro game fits your game a lot more. But then you come to the league and you hit that around the world goal. And I'm like, whoa! Like Chris Berman, like, whoa! I mean, I think I don't know where I was when my phone blew up. Like, it's just DM. Did you see your cousin? Did you see your cousin? I was like, yeah. Like, I mean, did you, like, if you haven't seen it, go online, guys. It's around the world. I don't know what you look up, Bradley Voigt around the world goal. That one of the best goals I've ever seen. and it's your first goal. Did you
Yeah.
walk me through that goal?
Well, I mean, a week before I was at the box in Penn Yan, and I was like just, trying to dial on the stick, whatever. And my buddy, Brandon Mace, like I was shooting on him because he's a goalie. So I was just like trying to get some shots up. And then, he was just messing around with the short stick a little bit. And then he pulled that out of nowhere. And I was like, yo, what did you just do? So I tried it a couple of times. I missed it every single time. I was like, all right, whatever. And then, I go down in Dallas, and like the ball's just there. And like, I didn't even plan to do that. I honestly planned to do, like, when I faked it, I planned to do that shot. And he just like matched sticks with me the whole entire time. And I was like, oh shit. So I thought about doing it like in between the legs or something like that. And like, it was just instinct to go around the world right away. And I mean, then I like looked back and I saw it go in the net, and I was like, oh, I cannot believe that. Like it was like one of those moments I couldn't believe. And like, I try to think about games and stuff beforehand, like just to vision the game before, like things that I want to do, or just like things that are going to happen.
Going in a lot? You try to visualize the ball.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I try to put myself in like spots where I think I'm going to shoot or whatever it is. But I had a feeling that I told a roommate too. I was like Sean, my first ever roommate, like one of my best friends. And I told him, and you could ask, yeah, exactly, yeah. And you can ask him this. I was like, dude, I think like my first goal is gonna be behind the back. Like I was like, dude, my first goal is gonna be behind the back, and like just messing around, not even like really thinking anything serious of it. And then that happened, and he came up to me right after the game. He's like, dude, you called it. I was like, no, I said behind the back. That was around the world.
I love how you said my first goal is going to be, and like, does that confidence come from the game? Does it come from your family? Does it come from you? Does you always have that confidence? Talk about shooting, like the confidence you gotta have as a shooter, because you weren't like, if I score today, like my first goal is going to be.
Well, I mean, I had like a bunch of confidence in Penn Yan, and then when I went to Syracuse and I didn't really play that much, every single time I went on the field, I felt so much pressure by like my performance, because it was such a short amount of time I would be out there, like my sophomore and junior year, that I just felt so much pressure even at practice. So like I was just off. Like my shot didn't feel as calm as it did now, or like that it did before. So and then when I got to the pros, it was back to like high school again. It was like back to, or like even after my senior year, like after like my first couple of games senior year, like I was like back to like the player that I was in high school.
Do you think? I've talked to a lot of people about this. The pro game is so fun.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is? Is it overcoaching in college? Is it stall ball? I mean, it's kind of getting to the speed up there and how the shot. Why do you think that difference is there? Because it's all the same players. But you can play at a freer level, but it's still hyper competitive. Like people get that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is still very competitive, and the shot clock probably has a lot to do with it. But like personally, it was just almost like the pressure was off, like coaching wise. Like, you're expected to run a certain type of offense. You're supposed to be right here at this time or right here at this time. It was just like, just go out there and play lacrosse, and like you guys are good enough that you're gonna figure it out. So like, and that's what would happen. Like you would just go out there and not run, like sometimes obviously out of a timeout, you'd run like set offenses or set plays, but the majority of the time it's like transition, or it's like 5-on-4 or odd man, or like, like whatever it is. So I just think the pressure is off of like from the coaches, or like from, like the set plays and everything like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably more the formation stuff. And like, so you talk about, visualizing the shots you're going to take, and that I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about finishing now. Are you like, I'm at 5-5, I'm going to go low to high, and I'm at 6 and I mean, obviously you're feeling the game out too, but are you like, one of the things I'll say with all great scores, and I'm putting you in the great scorer category now. I thought in the MLL this summer you were probably the best finisher. We need to figure out how to get you more shots. That's the next question.
Right. Yeah.
Percentage-wise, you're up there, but you shoot the different shots. You shoot one hand, you shoot twister, you shoot behind the back, shoot around the world. So you always thinking like, I might try this one here. How do you walk me through your mental?
Yeah. So I mean, if I'm off ball and I'm moving, and say I'm on like the left wing, say if I catch it low, if it's a lower pass, I'm going to catch it, or I'm going to shoot it right where, like from where I caught the ball. So, and I'm going to go either low to high, or usually like low to low. Excuse me, but I don't even really think about it in the game. Like if I'm catching it low, I'm just putting the ball on goal. I just like let the game come to me. and I'm either like shooting low to low or low to high. And then like, say if I'm catching it up here, I usually bang it high to low. So it's really about if I'm off ball and I'm catching it's like about where the pass placement is, I guess.
So as you're making that cut though, and you know, right? Like I'm gonna get the feeder's great. I'm gonna catch it. So
right.
Are you thinking the shot already, or do you wait till you catch it and then think shot?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking the shot like as I'm cutting, because every time I cut and every time I'm moving off ball, I tell myself I'm getting the ball so I'm ready at all times. So then I can think about it before I even catch the ball. I'm like, okay, I'm cutting right now. If he throws me the ball, I'm gonna quick stick it low. And if I'm drifting away and he throws it to me up here, I'm gonna go high to low.
Does the goalie have much to do with that at all, or is it more like you can score?
Well, I try to get out as quick as possible too. So as soon as I catch the ball, I want it like out of my stick as quick as possible, so then the goalie doesn't have time to react. So like, I mean, I have my shots maybe like 88 miles per hour, like on a really good day. But like that doesn't matter if like the goalie can't see it to begin with, if you already got the shot off. So.
Yeah, for sure. So you talk about off-ball movement. So I want to ask, you do a great job of what I call talking with your stick, right? Like but not the You're showing it by shaking the stick and different spots. Is that dependent on the feeder you're with? Is that just anybody? Like I got to get involved. Like do you just shake? Are you yelling while you're shaking it?
No, I never like yell for the ball, just because like if I'm shaking my stick to call for it, like that means I know that my defender's like either looking at the dodger or like he's worried about the two slide. So like I kind of look at my defender and then I look at the guy who's dodging or the guy who has the ball, and that's when I shake my stick. That's when I know that if they feed me the ball, I can definitely get a shot off right now.
Yeah. Are you relying more on like, I know that this time on the lefty alley dodge, I'm pretty good at this angle, or you always just kind of feeling it? Like I need to. I'm
always feeling it. I'm always feeling it, and I always I just will read wherever the ball is, and I'm moving around as much as possible, because I mean, first thing, like if I'm moving around a lot, that just makes the defense and their slide package really messed up. Like, say if my guy's the guy who's hot and I'm like moving around constantly, that's just going to make his slide 10 times harder. And I mean, maybe the Dodgers going to get a shot, so like I'm always moving around. I know it messes up the defense. I know it gets, the offense good shots. And obviously I'm still trying to get open and get a shot off myself. But
well, one thing I've continuously, when you're at Q's, and then, even with the good run you had, or great run you had with the Hammerheads, could have should have.
I know. Could have. I know. We were the hottest team. You guys
were hot. You guys were hot. But after game 2, I thought game 1 you were terrible. I was like, this team is trash. Like I was trying so hard not to whip you guys on Twitter because you're there, Coach Orr's there, Billy Warner.
We saw all the tweets. We saw all of them. No, not you. We saw this team could possibly be the worst team to ever play professional lacrosse ever. Like we saw tweets like that, and I was like, "Oh, jeez, man, I'm on this team." So it really did. It was like 17-5, or it was like 17-6, or something like that. Like it were 18-6, or. And
you guys weren't getting shots, and you weren't doing anything. So after game 2, I'm like, all right, if we get Bradley more shots, we can have a chance. I'm on the team now. I'm a big fan.
Right, let's go.
All right, I'm in. I'm like, I got nothing else to do. It's bonus season. I'm all Hammerheads. But I'm like, how do we get this guy more shots? And it's interesting. I just did a D-Medi podcast. And we're talking about that position's not celebrated. Your position's celebrated, but I'm still going to say it's undercoached. Like, literally, we'll just say, okay, our best scorer is Bradley, but he's an off-ball guy. So we'll just hope he gets shots.
Yeah.
To me, like, does that get nuts after a while? Like, can somebody run Hawk? So for you at home, like Hawk is just it's a really like 4 staggered screens, and the lefty comes off it. Like, are you thinking like, can somebody run Hawk for me, or somebody run combo for me, or can somebody pick? Can I go pick the ball? Like, what are you thinking when that happens?
It's like the most frustrating thing. It's and like when you're not getting shots that's your only job. Like it definitely gets in your head. Like I remember we were playing against Boston Cannons and I didn't get one shot. Maybe I got one shot in the first half, and I was like going to the locker room. I was so rattled. And then in the second half, I got like a couple, like honestly garbage goals, but like I ended up with a couple goals that game, which may have seemed good, but I didn't do anything off ball wise or like cutting wise that was like good for the team. It was just a couple.
Person set a single pick for you the whole time.
I know. So it was It's frustrating, but it's also tough though, because I mean, I feel like if it was a longer season, everything like that, it would have definitely been.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
I
hating
mean,
on the team in general. I'm just hating on the actual just the
oh,
idea.
the position. I mean, the
That,
position. Yeah, the position is tough because like the off ball guy or the crease guy is kind of like looked over just because like you just expect him to score goals, and like everyone else like from the outside is like, oh, that guy just stands and shoots, like, and that's what I mean, it's to an extent it's true, but there is also like a lot. I mean, like if you watch a crease attackman in an offensive set, like they actually move around like a lot more than you think they would, so like, but and also when you catch the ball inside, you're expected to finish. If you miss it, you're like, okay, like this guy needs to, yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah,
gonna get hit.
yeah. Oh, and you get slashed and cross check the whole entire game.
Would you want some picks and one off ball, and two? I think just the on ball would be a simple way to get you some more touches. Just because if they mess that up, you're picking pop, you're diving.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, setting off ball and on ball picks is definitely good for the position. Just because, the pick game for defenses is so hard anyway. And honestly, all you need as a crease guy is just a little bit of room just to catch and shoot anyway. So.
All right. Now, how do you choose around the world, BTB, one hand, twister? Like what? Like it's just you're talking to yourself again, as you talked about earlier?
I just feel it out. Wherever, like I said, like wherever the ball is, I know I scored one-handed goal this year against the Lizards, and it was because the guy was like right here, and it got thrown to me, and I caught it, but I knew that he was going to slash down on my stick right here, so because he was like on this arm, so then I just kind of put it to one arm and kind of used it. I didn't ward off, but I definitely put it out there to like just protect my one-handed shot, but I never plan the crazy shots that I do. I always just let the game, honestly, let the game come to me. So.
But you practiced all of them.
But I will go out in the backyard or wherever and do that stuff. Sometimes more times than I shoot regular, just because I just like to mess around, and like I said, when we would always play goalie wars or 2v2, whatever it was always around the world passes or behind the back passes, just to have fun.
When you're not scoring or getting the looks or whatever, I think I call you the frog with the, how they catch things with your stick.
Yeah.
Are you all right, screw it, I'm just waiting for a ride so I can try to get one of the pick offs?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do is pick off a pass on a ride.
I love watching you do it at camps when we play speed lacrosse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things. But if that's not going well, I'm just hoping for a loose ground ball or a garbage goal, where I just get a good bounce or something just to go my way, just so then I get more confidence to okay, I'm gonna get open more, and now it's gonna start coming my way. I'm gonna shoot the ball.
What are you saying to yourself the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, I just like to. I don't really I try not to get upset or rattled about it if things aren't going my way. I mean, sometimes say if I go 0 for 3 in a quarter or a half, I'm and I go into half and I'm damn, I just went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 that half. I'm definitely upset with myself, but then I just tell myself the ball, the ball's going to bounce my way in the second half. I always just try to have a positive mindset about it, and just, try to tell myself that it's, at some point the ball is going to go my way and I'm going to put a couple in the back of the net. So.
Sure. What do you do to really get, your time and room shot? What I want to ask you, we talked about time room. You're trying to get out quick, essentially, right?
Right.
So if I short stick you, do you want to ISO me or do you want to work off ball?
I haven't, Coach Warder said, to me this summer, if it did happen that I would be setting picks. That's probably the first thing I would do is definitely set picks for a dodger from up top or a dodger from behind, and just kind of read it off of that, and either get it, try to get a good matchup for the dodger at the time, because say Mike Krause or Will Sands from behind and get a short stick, they can go to the rack 10 times better than I could, from a shorty from behind. So if I get shorty, it's not the end of the world. I think there's so many more things that you can do. And hey, if I'm getting shorty and shutting me off, okay, then I'm just going to stand where the guy's dodging, down the alley, and he's not going to slide off me. It's just going to be a 1v1 down the alley. So
Yeah,
So
that's always interesting to me because really part of the reason you do it is because if they just make you ISO nonstop, it just kind of kills the flow anyways.
right. But the only time whenever I've gotten shorty though, it's always been like a complete shut off. But there's so many things that you can do around that. So I mean, at first I was like, damn, like I'm not gonna, like this is kind of brutal getting short sticked, honestly, because I'm not gonna be able to dodge. But then you just got to find other ways to help out the team at that point. So
Yeah. All right. Well, we talk about help out a team, and I know that people like being around you. You're funny, a gregarious guy. You got a smile on. And Quentin and Joe nailed it. They're in the dumbbell tournament. They're like, this guy's just happy to be here. Like they said, it's the most important thing in your life.
yeah,
I just think to make it pro for a while, people are gonna want to play with you.
right.
And how important do you think the locker room is? What do you do to connect with your teammates? It's a lot of. I've heard from older guys now. It's hard to talk in the room. Everybody's on the phone. So are you guys? You and Scanoni look like you're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to come in our locker room like before the game, even in Dallas or in Baltimore for this year, like I've had the same rule since like high school and college. Like just put the phone like away pre-game. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have your headphones on and go on it a couple times to change a song, but it's not like we're scrolling through like social media or anything like that or like texting people, like that stuff like changes at like at the hotel or like the ride over. Like you try to get in that zone and you try to just put everything aside. Like I don't know. I really enjoyed the group of guys last year in Dallas and this year for Connecticut. So like there wouldn't be like pregame, like obviously guys are saying jokes and stuff and everyone's getting pumped for the game and having a good time. And even like in the practices, like it was always fun from day one. And I try to be the guy that welcomes whoever's new onto the team. And then also just always having fun when we're playing, because I look at it like, we can continue to play lacrosse at like the professional level, past college. So like we should always be, happy to be there and happy to be able to still compete for something, like we're at the end of the day, you competed for a championship, but like just to be able to continue to play the game is like you said, like I was just happy to be there. There's no reason to be like in a bad mood or like, negative about anything. So
who's your favorite teammate now?
Sean's definitely my favorite teammate. Yeah. I mean, like he's obviously one of the best goalies in like the whole world, and like the way he goes into it. Yeah. And like, so, I mean, the saves that he makes and him before a game or after a game, his leadership's unbelievable. But like he was saying, like, I don't know, we were having a conversation, like, because I was with him this past weekend, and he was like, dude, it's funny that you bring up this, because he's like, dude, I don't really care about all he cares about is being a good teammate and being known as being like a good teammate. Like he was like, that's all I care about going forward. Like after like my lacrosse career is done, like I want guys to be like, dude, that guy's like a great guy. He's like a great teammate. And like he was saying how like John Grant Jr. tweeted back at him, and he was like, dude, like I respect him so much, but like the fact that he like tweeted at me is like unbelievable to him. So like the respect, it's just like the respect level for like even like Lyle gave me like a pair of cleats this year.
He did.
And like, yeah, like, and I have them right here, and like they were half a size too small, and my toenails were black and blue, but I still wore them every single game. Like it's just like a respect factor for some of the players in the game, and it's just like,
it's such a brotherhood. It's so cool. Yeah. I was telling you, I had dinner with John Grant Jr. a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And your name came up, and he's like, "Oh, he's your cousin? That makes so much sense."
Yeah.
Like, now I understand. And he loves your game, and he's like, like that kid's nasty.
Yeah, well, I talked to him for the first time ever down in Maryland, and it was like, dude, like I grew up watching this guy. I mean, I know people are probably going to give me crap for it, but like because I've never talked to him before, but it was like, damn, like this was the one guy, like because he was a lefty and he was like a bigger attackman. Like obviously he's one of the best to ever play, but like I grew up watching all of his highlights and watching him play all the time, and then just to be able to play against him and like talk to him, and like the training room was like unbelievable for me. So
it's pretty fun. It's neat. I'm glad to hear that keeps going. All right, what's the one thing you kind of touched on, but what's under, like, you guys get a lot of love, Chris Berman, you get a lot of headlines. What do you get mad about though? What's misunderstood about Bubba? Like, what do you guys?
What's with some,
Yeah, what's with some sticks?
I work out. I mean, people don't think I work out, but I work out.
Yeah.
I mean, people just think as a cruise attackman you can just show up and you can be in whatever shape you want to be in, or like you don't have to be a great athlete, which I'm not. Definitely not a great athlete, but I do work out, and
comes in many different forms. Most people can't catch a ball like you can, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, but the thing is, like, I do like this summer going into the MLL, like I was in like really great shape. Like I was running every single day, and I was like lifting weights, and now I'm like lifting weights right now, just like getting into shape for NLL tryouts and everything. So, like it's, I guess the fact that, I mean, people just think that I can eat whatever and drink whatever and just still show up and do the same thing.
That used to bother me, man. When I lived in Canada, people would be like, well, lacrosse players don't train. And I'd be like, dude,
Right.
you have to work so hard. You know, playing D maybe was a little tougher, but yeah. I mean, you do. I see you train. I see you on the gram. Yeah. All right, let's go. What's next? I said today we mentioned you signed by the Mammoth. Congrats. Training camp's coming up. Is there a date set for that?
I think it's going to be at some point in December. I think they usually are like they're usually like in October, but I think the season's being pushed back. Definitely going to be pushed back. So probably like December.
What are you doing to get ready?
Oh, I've been lifting with Jake Pulver. He plays for the Chrome. He's a defender on the Chrome. He actually lives up here in Rochester. So, and he's a beast in the weight room. So I'm working out with him every single day. Just trying to put on some muscle.
What advice you got for little kids trying to go this route? You know, one of the things I always love.
ABC.
What stands for what?
Always be cradling. That's right.
Always be cradling. Always be cross-checking. You know, it works for both.
For defense too. And I mean, I don't know, just having the stick in your hands as much as possible. Like,
well, go back to that because I think we were talking about this the other night. 3x with a lot of OGs from upstate. Yeah. And like cradling is just so overlooked.
Right.
Like,
I know.
Do you cradle a lot?
Yeah, I mean, whenever, like, if I'm going to play pickup or going to play a game, I always have this, like, I always make sure I grab a ball before and I just cradle, like, for even, like, 5 minutes just to, like, feel the ball, like, in my stick, just to, like, kind of get my hands, like, my stick, like, broken in a little bit, I guess. I know it's probably, like, superstitious, but, like, just to break in my stick a little bit before I play.
Cradle now as soon as I pick up a stick, I noticed, because I didn't, like, this summer, NCAA, thanks, we're not allowed to work camps anymore. So, like, you know, I can tell my stick's just not
exactly. Yeah. But definitely stick in your hands at all times. I mean, I would go to, I'm sure you did the same thing in high school, play football, basketball, lacrosse, but before football or basketball practice, like, you'd be playing wall ball. Like,
no, I didn't. That's why I ended up being a D-Midi. I thought I was going to the NFL, so I was lifting weights. Like, and then I didn't get my stick skills really until mid-20s, late.
Right.
And because I played so much 3x with guys. And goalie wars.
But that's what whenever like I go to camps or anything like that, and like kids ask me, or like parents or like coaches ask me, like, how do you get your stick skills so good? I'm like, honestly, just carry your stick around with you, like wherever, like whenever you have time, or like wherever you go, especially growing up, like walking to school, like walking home. Like if I'm a kid, I'm walking to school in middle school or high school, like I would definitely be carrying my lacrosse stick and just messing around, like doing stick tricks the whole way back home. So
that's great advice.
Yeah.
All right, who you got winning the NBA Finals?
The Heat.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, well, listen, they've been so fun to watch, and
they got more people. They have more guys.
They have. Well, I've been watching like the Sports Center, stuff like that. Like, they had the better team. Obviously, Lakers have LeBron and AD. Yeah. LeBron and AD, but like after that, like who's been playing good for the Lakers besides those two? Like,
not one name comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that the Heat I think they have a shot, but I would like to see the Heat win, even though like I do think LeBron is deserving of another championship, but it would be sweet to see the Heat win.
All right, so you mentioned that I want to go back to, I forgot one question. Take a stick over. You're a three-sport guy. You played football, basketball, lacrosse. People watch, but you played a lot of lacrosse. Would you play three sports again? You think it's super important in your development?
Yeah, 100%. especially like with basketball, like the pick and roll game and like just like the movement and I like you play a sport like basketball or football, you're just going to be in better shape overall and you're going to become a better athlete. Like think about the difference between like just sitting around for like a fall and winter and doing like some stick work like here and there. Or like even like running a couple of times. It doesn't compare to like what you'd be doing for a football practice or a basketball practice or even like games or anything like that. So like, yeah, exactly. So, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, you could do soccer or whatever it is, but.
All right, shout outs. Well, I think I'm done with questions. Shout out. Oh. Who did we forget today? You know, Grandma, your grandma, my name.
We can't forget her. We can't forget. Yeah, my grandma and my grandpa. Yeah, can't forget them. But
I slept on you a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like there's a reason why.
Your Dad Jim, we got shout out Dad Jim with the pizza.
Yeah, Big Jim, New Year's Day pizza. But like you said, there's like a reason why. Like, I mean, like a lot of people like just they don't see like professional lacrosse as like this big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I mean, it's not to level. Yeah, it does. And because like it takes like a lot of dedication because you have to work like a full-time, you got to work a job. I mean, there's some full-time lacrosse players, but the majority of the guys that play in the professional leagues like have other jobs. So you're working Monday through Friday and you're trying to work out and get shots up and then you're traveling on the weekends. So it takes like a lot of dedication, and people are just like, oh, it's like it's just like
you're missing weddings, you're missing,
yeah,
you know, your 20s, like everybody's hanging out, and like we're do this a lot.
Yeah,
but it's more fun. I mean, I agree though. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, it takes like you have to be very disciplined in order to like do it and stay in shape for it. So that, and also I just like to continue to play, obviously, because that's what I've always wanted to do is just play lacrosse and be around the game. But I mean, like, obviously it didn't happen this year, but like next year, like when my family's able to come out to like games and stuff like that. And like, obviously Jarrett had, you know, his daughter now. So like things like that I think of that, like my parents are still able to watch me play. And like, I could come back home and like talk to my brother about playing and certain things or certain stories. Like,
well, you're the big shot pro we got now. Well, Michael and Brett are still in the league too.
Right, exactly. So yeah.
But my favorite thing is you go home with a box. Let's say we go play next weekend. I'll fly out. We'll play the pickup game.
There's a game Saturday, 1:00.
No, is anyone there going to tell you you're great?
No. No. If anything, like if I miss a shot, like that's another thing I hate about summer league, because if you show up like wearing certain like Q stuff or whatever, like, and you don't play well, it's like that, like whoever you played with is gonna go tell whoever they know about lacrosse, be like, dude, that kid's not even that good. Like I played against him and he's not that good. So and that's everybody. That's everybody when they go back home for summer league though. Like if you go to like a top college like to play lacrosse or like Division I, whatever it is, like, and you don't do well in like a summer league game, like, oh, that kid is not good at all.
I'm convinced it's why some people won't come to 3-by. Like people ask me, like, isn't he friends with you? Why can't you get him to come to 3-by? I'm like,
right.
It's a lose-lose. If he doesn't, and I never cared because I just want to play all the time.
Exactly.
But in any game, like any sport, and if you can play lacrosse instead of basketball, it's more fun. So
right,
you know,
exactly.
Guys won't show up to 3-by because it's the same thing.
Yeah. And then I mean that's the thing. And then another one is like you go and you play, and then you got guys from like Penn Yan or like around Penn Yan that are like, they kind of look down on the MLL just because like the players in the PLL, everything like that. So it's like, oh, I mean, dude,
being in the MLL, like
they don't really say, they don't say it to me like straight up like that. They would just be like, oh, I could definitely make it. I could definitely make an MLL team. I could definitely make a team. And I'm just like, all right, like just work hard.
Stuff used to drive me nuts. Like when I was your age.
Oh, it does. It's brutal.
Now I just think it's so funny, and I think
it's brutal.
Why we are who we are, and we're like why it still drives you to want to be better. And then
exactly.
Pick up Penn Yan box game, like you threw a box last year.
At
a 40-year-old man, but he was slashing you. You know.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean. I wouldn't have I just wouldn't have thrown a punch to throw a punch. Like we were going at it, but the thing is, like, the next time we showed up and played, it was perfectly fine. And like I talked to him, like, it's one of those things. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's happened to a bunch of people at Penn Yan box, but like that's what's also good about playing the game is like you can show up the next time and be teammates with them, and then it's all good. So.
All right, I know you're a big social media guy. Where do they follow you? What do they call you? At what?
At Bubba_Voigt.
What's that, Instagram?
That's Instagram, and then Twitter. I'm not like I need to get back to tweeting because like I have these thoughts that I want to tweet, and I'm just like
these things in my brain.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I want to like tweet this out, but I mean, my last one, I remember I tweeted about the post-grad year for basketball. So
I was shocked you brought that up and owned that. The JV MVP of Salisbury. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, that's an accolade of mine that I like.
I'm happy if you should have that behind you frame. That was I've never been happier when I got on Facebook and your grandma had posted that.
Listen, I had to get up and do like for a ceremony for that. There was always like
you were 19 playing against 14-year-olds.
Yeah, dominated.
Just post them up, sit back and down.
Dude, and like I had like obviously like pretty hairy arms, and like my beard, like I had 5 o'clock shadow every single time, like every single day. Like
beard in 3rd grade.
I had a mustache. Probably like I could grow a good mustache in probably 7th grade.
Yeah,
so,
beard's looking good. Beard's looking really good.
I'm growing it back out. I'm growing it back out again. So yeah, but I mean, I got to start tweeting again. But Instagram, I got to get. I like to obviously post pictures about lacrosse, but I got to get more. I got to get more family in there for sure.
I'm just so bored of it. The Twitter's just more. You can fire stuff off. Like Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, some of the stuff that I see on Twitter is actually hilarious. Like some of the stuff is hilarious. So,
that's fine.
Yeah, you were good. You were a good follow for the summer for lacrosse games because I could see you sitting there thinking of it. Okay, I'm just gonna tweet this out. Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah.
I sprained my foot. I had nothing to do.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, it gets people talking.
I really enjoyed watching the MLL. Yeah. Was it fun to play in? It was fun to watch.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was like you were like because you didn't have to travel, so I wasn't working at the time, so it was just full on like professional lacrosse player every single day for like 12 straight days. Obviously, the ending was pretty bad, but next year.
It's got to be the going, not the getting there. That's good, right?
That's right. That's a good one.
Yeah, you guys had a great journey. It was fun to watch. I mean, that's the most amazing thing about sports. You said earlier, it felt awful. You guys got smoked. You looked terrible. 2 days later, you're the best team in the tournament.
I know.
Like, it's just like lacrosse is crazy how you can catch fire like that.
I know. It's unbelievable. The chemistry was unmatched by any other team.
Porter put together a great team. I was chirping them on the internet. I was like, here's 50 guys I would put on this team.
Yeah. So I know. Yeah. Yeah, you got to coach. You got to coach. You got to coach at some point.
I'm trying. They talked about the new girls pro box league or women's, and I do my name for that. I'd love to coach at some point. I'm waiting for Brody to get a job, and he'll hire me. Yeah, I'd love to get on staff. Thanks for your time. What are you gonna eat tonight? You got your choice in upstate. What are you gonna eat?
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn on the Lakers game for sure, but I already had. Yeah, the Lakers and Heat are on tonight. Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm going to I went home on Sunday and I did bring home some leftovers from Grandma Nyla's. So spaghetti and meatballs with some ravioli.
Is there sausage in there?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know it's probably just generic, but it's good.
Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna have those leftovers and then I'm call it night and wake up at 6 a.m. and go work out. So
you got the early morning workout?
Yeah, so I've been on that schedule because I go to work. I'm working from home about 8:15 every day. Wow. So I work out, especially on Tuesday, Thursday, so I can, play lacrosse at 5:30 Tuesday, Thursday, pick up lacrosse then, work out at 6 a.m. in the morning just so I can do both in the same day.
Hey, increase tech. You got to grind. You're like
hey, listen, it's actually a very hard position.
It is.
You need your conditioning. You need your conditioning.
Strong because you're going to take some hits.
Yeah. So don't be thinking I'm just some unathletic dude that's just standing on the
crease. You're not. And I like talking NBA, what's been driving me nuts, and I've tweeted it a few times, is like Doncic gets called unathletic. Like
I know, I saw it,
Freak athlete. Like when he was getting drafted, what do they say? Yeah. And then Hero, same thing. I'm watching him like Kemba Walker. It's a step back, and they're like, he's not playing great D, and his hands like on Kemba's hands.
I know. Well, if you're at that level, you're crazy athletic no matter what.
Same with lacrosse to the level you play, and so it's like that. But hey, man, I really appreciate you joining.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
That was fun. We'll get you back on.
Let's go. All right.
Thanks,
Anytime. Yep. See you, man.
Love you, brother. See ya.
Hey, love you too.